Welcome to the GameChanger Podcast with Alice and Bob. First principles, Web3, decentralization, power to the users. A place to discuss how we are building a better future together.
Ever notice how people talk about blockchain? Like it's some magic wand for decentralization, sprinkle it on anything and poof, no more middlemen, right? But what about the apps we actually use, the dApps, built on these blockchains? Ready to dig into that gap between the tech and the reality, especially on Cardano.
It's a crucial point. Decentralization doesn't just magically appear because of the blockchain. It depends on how the whole ecosystem is designed, especially the dApps.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, we're getting into how decentralized Cardano's dApps really are. We've got some lively debates from the Cardano forum. Users asking the tough questions, developers jumping in with solutions, plus a deep dive into GameChanger Wallet's documentation. They claim to be tackling these very challenges. One forum thread caught my eye. This user, they were asking, if we're relying on centralized servers for dApp code, like the backends and frontends, does that even defeat the purpose of decentralization?
It's a valid concern. That reliance, it introduces a single point of failure. If that server goes down, bye-bye dApp. Plus, whoever controls that server, they have the power to censor content, restrict access, heck, even shut the whole thing down. Not exactly the open, censorship-resistant vision of Web3, is it?
And it gets trickier. Another issue that came up, the lack of interoperability between dApps on Cardano. It's like developers are stuck in their own lanes. And that limits diversity, resilience, the whole bit.
Imagine if you could only use one web browser. That's kind of the situation we're seeing in parts of Cardano. This lack of interoperability, it stifles innovation and leaves the whole ecosystem vulnerable. If one platform goes down, it could have a domino effect on tons of dApps.
Okay, so we've got potential censorship, single points of failure, and a lack of interoperability. So where does this GameChanger wallet, GCW for short, come into all of this?
This is where it gets interesting. GCW is taking these concerns head on. They want to be a universal dApp connector, breaking free from those browser-reliant solutions, which can be a real bottleneck for developers and users.
I like where their heads are at. I checked out their documentation. A few things blew me away. First, on-chain code storage with GCFS. I'm no tech whiz, but this sounds like they're putting the dApp code directly on the Cardano blockchain.
You got it. GCFS, or GameChanger File System, it's their solution for doing exactly that. And it's a big deal for transparency and auditability. With the dApp code on the blockchain, anyone can verify what it's doing. No more black boxes. Everything's out in the open.
Okay, that's a game changer right there. But how does it actually work? They mentioned something called GCScript in the documentation. What is that?
Think of GCScript as their secret sauce. It's a scripting language that lets developers write dApp logic that runs client-side, meaning on your device, not on some far-off server.
So instead of relying on a centralized server to do the heavy lifting, with GCScript, the dApp runs its code right on my phone or computer.
Precisely. That's a massive step towards decentralization. It puts users back in control and reduces reliance on potentially vulnerable centralized infrastructure.
Suddenly, the name GameChanger Wallet is making a lot of sense. But there's more, right? This workspace concept sounds intriguing.
Workspaces are how GCW empowers users to manage their dApp interactions securely and in a way that's customized to them. Think of it like a personalized environment for you to organize your keys, addresses, and dApp-specific settings.
So less like a regular wallet and more like a personalized dApp command center, all tailored to how I specifically use Web3.
You got it. It's all about giving users the tools to navigate the complexities of a decentralized world, but without compromising security or ease of use.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. Maybe a real-world example would help ground this. Luckily, the GCW documentation provides one.
Let's hear it. Sometimes a concrete example is the best way to grasp how these seemingly abstract concepts actually benefit users.
Right. They have this Alice workspace example. Imagine you're Alice, a passionate Cardano community member. You're super involved with Project Catalyst, managing funds for multiple proposals. Without GCW, this could be a logistical nightmare. Different wallets, keys, addresses, it's a lot.
The complexity can become overwhelming, not to mention the potential security risks of juggling multiple wallets and seed phrases.
Exactly. But with GCW, Alice can create a dedicated workspace for all her Catalyst activities. And get this, he can manage it all securely with a single seed phrase.
This is what's so elegant about GCW. It empowers users to manage complexity without compromising security. It also shows how flexible their universal dApp connector can be. It's not just about building dApps, it's about building them in a way that caters to the diverse needs and preferences of users.
And Alice is just one example, right?
Yeah.
If GCW can handle something as complex as managing multiple Catalyst projects, imagine the possibilities for other dApps.
Absolutely. This example highlights GCW's potential to transform how we interact with the decentralized applications. It could be a secure, flexible, and user-friendly gateway to a truly decentralized Web3 experience.
I am so ready for a decentralized future that I can actually wrap my head around. And GameChanger Wallet might just be the key.
Their approach is definitely innovative. But like any emerging tech, it comes with its own set of challenges and questions. But before we dive into that,
We need to take a quick break. Don't worry, we'll be right back. Stay tuned to learn about even more innovative features of GameChanger Wallet and whether it can truly deliver on its promise of a decentralized dApp ecosystem on Cardano. Welcome back. Before the break, we were getting seriously hyped about GameChanger Wallet and how it could revolutionize the Cardano dApp scene. You were about to dive into some even more intriguing features from their documentation.
absolutely, there's plenty more to unpack. One that really stands out is how GCW handles multi-sig wallets. They're incredibly powerful for things like shared ownership or governance in DAOs, but traditionally they've been a pain to set up and manage.
Yeah, clunky interfaces, technical hurdles, not exactly user-friendly. But GCW seems to have cracked the code, right?
Exactly. GCW simplifies the whole process. Their documentation shows how you can easily create and manage multi-sig wallets within a workspace, set different signing thresholds for added security, and even track which keys have signed a transaction. It's like they've taken a concept reserved for blockchain gurus and made it accessible to anyone.
That's a game changer for dApp governance. Imagine a DAO where decision-making is truly decentralized, with multi-sig wallets ensuring no single entity calls all the shots. That's real power to the people.
Precisely. It aligns perfectly with the ethos of Web3. And there's more. Take inline scripting within GCScript, for example. Developers can embed snippets of JavaScript-like code directly into their GCScript, adding a whole new layer of dynamic customization.
Hold on, inline scripting. So it's like injecting extra functionality on the fly. Does that compromise the security of GCScript?
Yeah, not at all. Think of it as giving dApps a boost of brainpower without sacrificing the security and predictable nature of GCScript. These inline scripts are executed securely within the wallet environment.
Wow, that's impressive. They've thought of everything. What about Plutus scripts? Can GCW handle those too?
That's another area where GCW truly shines. It allows for wallet-side Plutus script compilation.
Okay, for those of us who aren't neck-deep in Cardano development, remind me what Plutus is and why this wallet-side compilation is such a big deal.
Plutus is Cardano's native smart contract language. Traditionally, you'd need specialized tools to compile Plutus scripts, adding another layer of complexity for users. But GCW allows this to happen right within the wallet itself.
So instead of trusting some external tool, I can compile and verify Plutus scripts directly within my wallet. That's incredible for transparency and security. It feels like GCW is ticking all the boxes for a truly decentralized dApp experience.
While it certainly seems that way, it's important to remember that GCW is still in beta. Like any groundbreaking technology, there are bound to be challenges along the way.
Right, even the most promising tech has its limitations. What are some potential hurdles GCW might face?
Well, for one, there's a question of adoption. Will developers embrace this new way of building dApps?
That makes sense. GCW needs a thriving developer community to reach its full potential. But what if developers are hesitant to learn this new approach or find it too difficult to use?
That's a valid concern. It's not just about the tech itself. It's about building a community, fostering collaboration, and showing developers the value GCW brings to the table.
So it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation. Developers need to get on board, but they need a reason to. And that reason might be a critical mass of users already bought into the GCW ecosystem.
Exactly. It's a delicate dance between innovation, adoption, and fostering a supportive community. But if they manage to pull it off, the impact could be huge, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I mean, imagine a world where dApps are genuinely decentralized, censorship-resistant, and users have complete control over their data and how they interact with these applications. GCW could be the catalyst for that future.
Couldn't have said it better myself. But let's delve deeper into that potential impact. We'll be back after a quick break to explore whether GameChanger Wallet really holds the key to unlocking a truly decentralized dApp experience on Cardano. Stay tuned.
Okay, so we're back and ready to tackle the big question. Can GameChanger Wallet really live up to all this hype? Can it really unlock a truly decentralized dApp experience on Cardano?
It's the question everyone's asking. GCW's approach is groundbreaking, no doubt. But like we said, adoption is key. If developers don't get on board, the impact of GCW could be limited.
Like building this high-tech fortress, but if nobody wants to live there, what's the point?
Right. So what about the developers? What are your thoughts there? A few things to think about. First, learning curve. GCScript, their scripting language. It's powerful, but it's different from what a lot of developers are used to. GCW is going to need to provide really solid documentation, tutorials, support, get developers up to speed quickly.
So it needs to be easy for them to jump in and start building.
Exactly. Second thing, there's the existing infrastructure. Many developers, they rely on centralized platforms and tools. GCW has to offer good alternatives that work well with those existing workflows.
Meet developers where they are, right? Make it as easy as possible to make that switch to GCW.
Precisely. And finally, the incentive. Why build on GCW? Developers need to see the value. Maybe that's financial, maybe it's access to a really passionate community, or maybe it's just the feeling of being on the cutting edge of something like a decentralized future.
Like with any new ecosystem, you need that thriving community for it to really take off. But let's say, hypothetically, GCW nails all of this. Developers love it, they're building great dApps, users are happy. What would that mean long term? What would the impact be?
That's where things get really interesting. GCW, it has the potential to change how we think about Web3 entirely. Imagine dApps that are truly owned and controlled by their users. No more tech giants, no more centralized platforms calling the shots.
A world of censorship-resistant applications.
Yes.
The norm, not the exception. Users have the control over their data, how they interact with these applications. That's a powerful vision.
It is. And while GCW might not create this perfect future single-handedly, it could be what sparks a huge shift in the balance of power. It could empower individuals and create a more equitable, more decentralized internet.
It's a future worth working towards, for sure. And it comes back to that question we started with. Can GCW deliver? We've talked about the tech, the challenges, the potential.
Yeah.
But the answer, it's out there in the world of Web3.
And that's where you come in, our listeners. Your curiosity, your willingness to dive in and experiment, your feedback, that's all crucial in shaping the future of tech like GCW.
So head over to the GameChanger documentation. We'll link it in the show notes. Check it out, explore their vision, and let us know your thoughts. Is Cardano about to have its dApp revolution? The future is waiting to be written, and you're a part of writing it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Join us on social media, share the word and be curious. Stay tuned for more.